Hey everyone, this is Steve Weintraub with Collider, and I am here in San Diego at Comic-Con in our built studio. It looks a lot better than last year. Thank you everyone behind the scenes. I'm thrilled to be once again with Ron Moore. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. It's a pleasure to be here.
I always ask you, and I always forget, should I say Ronald Moore or Ron Moore?
Just call me Ron. I always like my credit to be Ronald. But yeah.
Got it. I forget this, and I apologize.
No.
So one of the things, again, thank you for all your work. You've done so many things that I cherish, and I just want to thank you.
Oh, that's very kind. It's been an amazing journey, and I've really enjoyed the work I've been able to do.
One of the things, I'm obsessed with getting more people to see movies in movie theaters. So I've been asking everybody, do you have a favorite movie theater?
I'm fond of, there's a chain called iPick, which used to be called Gold Class. And you can go in and the best part is there's a button on the table and you press it and a martini will appear during the film. So that to me is the greatest theater of all.
We are here at Comic-Con, and a lot of people at Comic-Con collect things. Are you able to walk the convention floor, or do you get like sort of bothered by a lot of fans?
I'm usually able to walk the floor, which I really enjoy. And what'll happen is someone will recognize me and ask to take a photo, and I'm always like, yeah, sure. But then if somebody sees someone else taking a photo, then there's like a certain swarming thing that kind of happens. Then sometimes I have to leave. But most of the time, they're very nice, and I can just kind of move on and cruise around the floor.
When you are on the floor, what are the things that you're looking for that you would like to bring home? Like, what do you collect, or what are you interested in?
It's hard now because in the early days, I used to find things that I really wanted to collect, like old one-sheets, press kits, vintage toys, rare DVDs or VHS tapes, from back in the day. And then as time has gone by, I find it really hard to find those kind of collector booths. It's like, enough with the Funko toys. It's like, I don't need to see more Funko. Nothing against Funko, but there's a lot of that. And there's not as much vintage stuff that I'm personally looking for, like old Star Trek action figures or play sets or old Battlestar, action sets and things like that.
I have to tell you something. So Factory Entertainment this year just premiered, and I freaked, and I think you would too. They just premiered them on the floor. Helmets, retro helmets of the 70s Cylon and of the what's the name of the Vipers,
the Viper pilots,
Viper helmet
things with the Egyptian.
Oh my God, they look perfect.
Oh, that's cool.
And they just premiered them, and the Cylon one has the moving thing.
Oh, no kidding.
And I think it does by your command. It has voice, and I freaked. Because they were just setting up, so I wasn't sure about the voices, but it's in the middle of the convention floor and you really need to go see it. And they have figures and they also have these huge starships that light up that cost $15,000 and they are insane.
I want to see those. I do love, I haven't really committed to buy one of those yet, but I'm always intrigued. I'm always close to buying one. I'm never sure where I'm going to put it.
So I personally don't have a place for it or the money to buy it, but they tell me that they sell steadily, but they have these, they look like they're the models that ILM built, but they're even better because they light up. You should go middle of the convention floor. The other thing I was going to say is this year's convention, which I love, is so many studios aren't here, and it has opened up the convention floor to a lot more indie dealers.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm just saying you should go on the floor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's always fun. It's one of the things I look forward to when I come here is just I get a break in my schedule. Okay, now I just want to go cruise the floor.
So one of the things that people don't realize is you're working on 17 things all at once.
Something like that.
So I am actually legitimately curious, what is your typical week like? And I'm going to be specific. Last week, what was your week like? And next week, what is your week like? You know what I mean? How does it work?
A lot, at the moment, spent time in the writer's room.
Of what?
Of God of War.
Sure.
Which, we're writing on at the moment. And then a lot of time, reading other material, taking pitches from writers, or looking at IP that somebody's submitting, having conversations with Meryl Davis, my producing partner, or taking a call from someone on one of the other shows. It really varies a lot week to week. Sometimes it's just me writing at home and trying to really minimize meetings in any way, just so I can get a draft out. And other weeks, it's just next week will be, all kinds of stuff that I should have been doing this week while I'm here. So it's all stacking up. So I've got a lot of phone calls, a lot of Zooms, a lot of emails that are just like, creeping up in my priority list that I must respond to, giving notes on other scripts or other story ideas, practicing pitches next week for some other material that we'll be taking out, in a few weeks.
How does
a lot of different
I
stuff.
actually have a question. How does it work for you? You are a very successful in Hollywood. How does it work for you when you're working on your pitch? Do you still practice, you know what I mean? How does it work for you when you're pitching?
I always write the pitch down and I'll go over it by myself. And then I try to do it by myself without looking at the page. Because to me, there's nothing worse in a pitch when you're reading the pitch. They can always tell, whether you're on a Zoom or whether you're in person, if you're reading it as opposed to just pitching it and telling them the story, it always plays a little different. So I try to, if it's an in-person pitch, I'll have the written material with me, but I try not to look at it so that I can just kind of engage and kind of feel, the interaction. Because, sometimes the jokes land, sometimes they don't. And, you kind of read the room, as it were, as you go through it. And if I'm on Zoom, I do have it on my desktop if I need to look at it. But again, I'm trying very hard not to. I find Zoom pitches difficult because you don't really know what people are looking at. Are they actually looking at you? Are they actually looking at their emails? You're never quite sure. And you can't get any sense of the flow of it. You can't, it's not a human interaction. It's just like
do you find that with certain things of certain material, they're like, we're doing this in person? Or do they find it's just about scheduling? Now
it's just about scheduling. It used to be within the last year that, that would come up. Well, for this kind of thing, we want to do it in person. Now I'm finding that no, everyone's just doing it by Zoom. And I keep pushing. Well, can't we do this one in person? Well, we checked and no, it's their schedule, blah, blah. So it's all kind of shifting over to that, which I don't think is good. I don't think it helps.
I agree 100%. Even when I do interviews, in person is infinitely better.
Yeah, it's always better.
So let's touch on a few things. For All Mankind Season 5, probably my most anticipated or one of my most anticipated series. It's been a year and a half since Season 4 ended. When are you guys announcing the release of Season 5?
Not today. I don't know when we're announcing it. Yeah.
Well, what can you tease about it in terms of, because Season 4 ends in it's a great ending and it teases what can come, what will probably happen on Mars, especially with what happened with the asteroid. So what can you tease about Season 5?
Well, as always, it's a jump ahead, and then we will be expanding on the story of a lot of the characters that you saw in Season 4, and the story of Mars and its growing independence, and how that the conflicts with Earth that continue to grow as Mars starts to have more and more a sense of its own nationality, you could say, but not really a nation, but in that sort of odd place between a bunch of colonists and then forming its own nation, and what do they really want to be for themselves? So it's an interesting question as you move forward.
Star City, I know you guys are developing it. Where are you in the development process? When do you start filming?
We've been filming Star City.
I wasn't sure about that.
Star City's well into production, so that's underway.
Have you announced the whole cast?
I don't know if we've announced the cast, no.
Yeah, when is that going to happen?
The announcement? I don't have any dates of when we make announcements. I don't know that.
Sure. Is the plan though, ideally, every year there's sort of a For All Mankind show, or every 8 months? Is there any sort of thought to that?
It really depends. It's really not up to us. It's really Apple, and it's how Apple likes to schedule. And it's a complicated web that I don't even quite understand. They have their reasons for when they premiere certain shows at certain dates and times. And I think it has a lot to do with other shows that are on the platform as well. So I don't really know exactly what the strategy is. I know it's not simple, because I've asked that question too, and they're like, okay, they try to explain it to me, and then it's like, okay, stop, it's too complicated.
Star City, I'm assuming it's 10 episodes like For All Mankind.
Yes.
So my question is, one of the things about For All Mankind, which is great, is at the end of it jumps ahead. 10 years for every season, I'm assuming.
It's roughly 10 years.
Sure, you're right, roughly. But is the plan still for Star City? Is it that similar kind of a thing?
We'll see. I mean, it's a different show with a different environment and a different rhythm, and I don't want to quite give away where that one ends and what it sets up for the next season. But there is a plan, but it's not the exact same plan. I'll put it that way.
Got it. Okay, so moving on to the end of Outlander and the spinoff Outlander: Blood of My Blood. Have you seen? The series finale of Outlander hasn't aired yet?
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah, I was going to be have you watched a rough cut? What was your reaction?
It's great. It's really wonderful. I think it's going to surprise people, and I think the cast really brought their A game. I was there on the last day of shooting, and it was very emotional and nostalgic, for everyone involved. And it was like, wow, what a journey we've all made. And I'm very proud. Matt Roberts gets all the credit for the last season and for the finale, and I think he did a great job. He just really said, this is what it is to end this show, and I think people are going to like it. How
much did you guys debate? What was that going to be, that final shot?
I didn't debate it. I know Matt went back and forth a lot in his own work in the editing room and tried out different things and was always like, okay, I think it's going to be this, but let's keep playing around with it.
Outlander, Blood of My Blood. Talk a little bit about, with that material, and pardon me for not knowing, how much is that from the books and how much is that you guys having creative freedom to do what you want?
It is mostly, it is drawn from backstories that are embedded in all the books. Like if you think about Claire and Jamie, there's a lot of material in all the books that refer to the backstory and to the story of their parents, because Blood of My Blood is about Jamie's parents and it's about Claire's parents. So there's various stories that have been told all the way through it. But for the most part, the actual narrative that the series is doing is an original, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just about out of time. I got to ask you one last thing. It's about God of War. I heard that video game is kind of popular. I think
I think so.
I think a few people play it. It's been around at least for a few years. Where are you guys at in terms of the develop? I know you're writing and you're in the writer's room. Where are you at in the terms of the development process? Because I know that's a priority show. And so, in terms of like getting it filming and getting it all, you know what I mean, and getting it made, like where are you guys at?
We're in the scripts phase. We're still working on scripts. It's gone very well. We've got a good team. It's been a fascinating thing to sink my teeth into. I've never done an adaptation of a video game, and the deeper I got into it, the more impressed I was with the breadth and the depth of the mythology that's involved in this video game. Cory Barlog is a genius. I mean, it's not a word I throw around very much, but I've had several meetings with Cory, and you ask Cory, well, tell me about the backstory of this or how this works. He just can talk, and because he holds it all in his head. And I usually pride myself about, as a showrunner, I can hold the season in my head. I know what the 10 episodes are, and I can tell you about it. Cory can tell you the whole thing, in every possible way. All the mythology, how it connects one to the other, what the puzzles were, why they did this, what that artifact did. It's really impressive. I mean, it is like a gigantic novel, even bigger than the Outlander novels, which is a lot to digest. But this world and this universe is really rich and it's interesting. And it's really been fun it's an adaptation. So it's an adaptation / interpretation as you go into live action. And it's been really fun to sort of go, wow, there's a lot here we can play with, and a lot. Okay, we want to keep the story, we want to keep the characters and the spirit of it. And all right, there's all this stuff that you can keep turning to for inspiration. It's really been interesting.
One of the things is I'm sure that the studio is like, let's hope for 3 or 5 years, whatever it might be. How much in the writer's room now are you guys trying to think about, if we were able to make 5 years, this is the plan? Because it's one of these things where I would imagine you don't, because I think you're doing 2 seasons. You don't want to just do like 1 season and be like, well, let's see what's going to happen. Like how far ahead are you guys thinking?
Try not to. I personally never try to get too far ahead of myself. Even, whether it's Galactica or Outlander or this, I try to just say our job for now is to get from here to here. Let's just get from here to here. And let's not worry too much about what the next season or the next 3 seasons are going to be. So we don't really talk about that really honestly at all at this point.
Last question for you. In an ideal world, when do you think you could be filming?
Don't know.
Definitely not this year, though.
Not this year.
Okay, so I'll assume hopefully next year.
We shall see.
Yeah, exactly. All right, listen, I could ask you a million other questions, but I'm just going to say have a fantastic Comic-Con.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming in.
Always a pleasure.